Sacrifice of George Francis Joseph Madison and Albert Sullivan.
All through my life, it seemed unfair to me. You know, I lost my dad. I lost my uncles. I lost my family.
Jim Sullivan was just 2 when his father, Albert, was killed. None of the other Sullivans had children.
I don't blame the Navy. I don't blame anyone for it. I mean, they joined. They wanted to be together. They requested it, so that's just life.
His memories of his father and uncles come from Hollywood's version of their story.
Don't forget your old man, would you?
You know, whenever I watch that movie, I cry every time when he comes up to the room, you know, and tells me goodbye and kisses me.
So long, son. I'll be seeing you.
I can't help it. I cry every time.
How could you not?
I know.
But what do they do for us? Why do we have those?
Jim's daughter, Kelly, teaches 3rd grade. She, too, wonders what life might have been like if all the Sullivans had come home.
We would have had one great big Irish Catholic family, and our family reunions would have been a blast.
May the luck of the Irish always be with you and your crew.
Kelly christened the new destroyer 2 years ago, and she's proud the Navy is remembering her family's sacrifice.
I think that's important to remember, too, that it's not just the Sullivans who sacrificed, but the Sullivans are kind of a symbol of everyone who sacrificed during the war.
We stick together was the promise the brothers made to each other more than 50 years ago. That promise is the new ship's motto, inspiration for crew members like Lieutenant Wayne Jang.
They're just normal, ordinary people that went out and did a great thing, you know, and you know, paid with their lives, you know, and kind of supported what this country is all about.
We ask a lot of the ordinary people who volunteer to serve America. Words like duty and sacrifice mean a lot to them. They should mean as much to us. Harry Smith, CBS News, Waterloo, Iowa.
Our thanks to CBS Evening News correspondent Harry Smith for a rather touching tribute on the Sullivan brothers.
You know, Ron, it looked like rain this morning, but the sun is definitely shining down on us now.
Sullivan brothers, Irish, you know, maybe there's a leprechaun over there.
And this commissioning is a perfect ending to an exciting week, both for the city and these sailors.
That's right. I was standing right down there on the pier when the ship pulled into New York Harbor, and New Yorkers really rolled out the red carpet for the Sullivans. Haze Gray is always a welcome sight in New York Harbor. USS the Sullivans, DDG-68, made her way up the Hudson River to the Intrepid Museum. Gun crews at the museum fired a 5-round salute, 1 blast for each Sullivan brother. After the gun salute, the ship cruised over to Staten Island, where a very interested visitor was waiting on the pier.
Oh, it's exciting, very exciting. There's a lot of pride for my family and pride for all military personnel, anyone who served in a war. It's just exciting. It's a celebration. So it's not just about the Sullivans. It's about everyone who sacrificed during the war. It's about everyone who has served time in the military to protect our country and to serve our country.
Candace, the 5 fighting Sullivan brothers were heroes, but not only that, they were symbols of American courage. I think Kelly hits the nail on the head, though, when she says that the Sullivans isn't just for the brothers, it's for every American who's ever put on a uniform to defend this great country.
You're absolutely right, Ron, and that incredible welcome set the tone for the entire week. No matter where they went, the sailors from the Sullivans were center stage. Highlights of the events included Sullivan's Day at Shea Stadium. The Mets honored the brothers and the ship with a scoreboard tribute. Then Sullivan sailors took to the field as the color guard. More than 25 sailors were guests of the Mets and looked on as the guest of honor, Kelly Sullivan Loughran, threw out the first pitch.
All right.
People here are great. They just opened their arms for us, you know, and people not knowing about New York or anything, you know. For me, from Johnson City, Tennessee, you know, I always screamed about coming to New York because I was afraid. But these people here are great. The stadium here at Met Stadium is great, Shea Stadium. They opened their arms and give us good seats. Didn't pay a dime to get in here, you know. People are just great here. I love it.
Across town in Staten Island, sailors made a visit to a local elementary school where the children were treated to a show and tell the Navy way. Meanwhile, back aboard ship, a local Navy junior ROTC unit from Staten Island dropped in for a tour of the ship. As they made their way through the spaces, it was clear from the questions asked that these young men and women have Go Navy on their minds. After a day at the ballpark and in the community, it was time to head downtown to the hottest place in New York, Times Square. It was the big city, bright lights, and Broadway for the Sullivan sailors, as several of them were treated to the Broadway hit Cats, courtesy of the Navy League. The next day brought more excitement for the crew. After a quick commissioning rehearsal, it was off to the Intrepid Museum for a wreath-laying ceremony to honor USS the Sullivans. In attendance were several members of the Tin Can Sailors Association, including sailors from the first ship to bear the name, the Sullivans. You know, Ron, these sailors had a great time all week long. We caught up with a few of them after the Broadway shows, and they simply loved them.
Yeah, they did. And you don't get treated to a Broadway show every day. And we saw the sailors coming down Broadway. They were wearing two things, their uniform and a big smile. They were very excited to be there.
Speaking of excitement, we've reached the key point in a commissioning ceremony when they bring the ship to life.
Let's watch.
Man our ship and bring her to life.
Wow, if you've never been to a commissioning ceremony before, you can see why. Bringing the ship to life really brings the crowd to its feet every time.
You're absolutely right, Ron, and every sailor in the Navy should be as excited as these sailors are today, every day.
And you should be excited, because when we come back, you're going to get to meet the men and women of USS the Sullivans.
Stay right there.
Hi, I'm GSE-1 Badger. On the USS the Sullivans, many other engineers and myself operate and maintain the main propulsion plant on the ship. Did you know that the U.S. Savings Bond program is underway? It's a great way to save money. Stick with us.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News. Well, here we are pierside to the newest ship in the United States Navy, the USS the Sullivans.
And as with anything new, it's generating a lot of excitement. New York is abuzz about the Sullivans, and so are Candace and I. We're pumped.
And this crew is excited, especially since they're plank owners and they're becoming part of history.
Earlier on in the show, we showed you some of that history. Now we're going to take you aboard the Sullivans to show you the ship and her crew. Let's go. This is one of the most exciting places on any Navy ship. It's CIC, or the Combat Information Center. Here's the watch supervisor, Petty Officer Vincent Hicks. And I mean, this is the newest ship in the Navy, so you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. It's certainly a lot different from when the Sullivans were in the Navy.
Yes, when the Sullivan brothers were in the Navy, ships were designed to fight one or two warfare areas, whether that's air warfare or submarine warfare. We are multi-warfare capable, and we can fight in any warfare.
What are some of the things that you and your shipmates do in this room?
The ship is fought from this area, and we track contacts. All of the missiles are fired from this room, guns, communications, everything is done from here.
Really important stuff, and they certainly have the technology to back them up. I mean, there are a lot of computer components. You see some of the stuff behind me. Here's Seaman Denise Rogers, who's also an operations specialist on board. She's going to tell us about what we're going to see over here.
Oh, okay, this is our large screen display, and it displays our contacts, which may be hostile or friendly, and right now we just have friendly contacts.
Well, that's good to hear. Petty Officer Lee's in sick bay, and seeing as how the ship's moored to the pier, Candace, please tell me you're not seasick.
Well, I'm not sick today, Ron, but if I was, I'd come to sick bay and see HN John Lawless. How are you?
Just fine, Candace. Welcome aboard.
Well, thanks for having us, and thanks for joining us on our show. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
That's fantastic. What's it like to be a corpsman aboard the newest ship in the Navy?
It's great. This is the latest and the greatest of the Arleigh Burke destroyers. I'm here to basically ensure the health and the safety of the crew.
Well, HN Lawless here isn't the only corpsman in our Navy helping out our sailors and Marines. Here's a story about an emergency medical technician in Norfolk who is making a difference.
Just another one of our squared-away sailors, and here's a couple more of them. Gunner's Mate Missile 3rd Class Mike Cash and Fire Controlman 3rd Class Chris Diedrich, and they're going to tell us about the vertical launching system, which is like the main battery for the Aegis destroyer.
That's right. As every sailor knows, this is the main battery for all Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, and it has anti-air capabilities with the Standard missile, subsurface capabilities with the ASROC, which is an anti-submarine rocket, and strike capabilities with the Tomahawk land attack missile.
Gives them a varied attack, and to talk about the Tomahawk is the expert, Petty Officer Diedrich.
The Tomahawk is the primary strike mission of the United States Navy today. We can fire a multi-missile salvo at the enemy at 750 nautical miles.
Well, thanks for talking to us. Of course, this is really exciting stuff, technology of the 21st century. But one thing that Navy ships has always had is a gun. And we're going over here to the 5-inch gun mount now. Here to talk to us is Gunner's Mate Guns First Class Curtis Bond. How you doing? And Gunner's Mate Third Class Jason Matthews. And they're going to talk about the 5-inch gun mount. It looks like it packs a lot of punch.
Sure can.
And historically, guns have always been on ships. This has a little bit of history to it, this particular mount, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Not only is the Sullivans part of history, but also we have a brass Tompkin at the end of our barrel that was donated to us from a World War II destroyer, USS Elrod.
And this gun, this particular gun, does have a lot of capabilities, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. This gun here can shoot 16 to 20 75-pound projectiles 13 miles away with pretty high accuracy.
Sounds pretty exciting. You guys must really like your job.
We love the job. It's a lot of excitement. It's a great job. Guns are our business.
Guns are their business. Well, guns are also the business of Marine snipers. And here to tell us about all the exciting things that they do is Seaman Matthew Hess.
The mountainous and jungle terrain of the Central Training Area gives Marine snipers from 1st Battalion, 6 Marines, a chance to train in a realistic environment. These snipers practice delivering long-range precision fire on enemy targets with their handmade M40A1 sniper rifles. According to snipers, there's a lot more to the mission than the rifle or the eyes and trigger finger of the shooter. In order to be effective, each sniper has an observer working with him to ensure the shooter hits his mark.
Without a good observer, the sniper just pulls the trigger. The observer gets him on target, calls wind, makes sure his adjustments are correct. And without those three things, the sniper wouldn't be able to engage his target properly.
Snipers do more than practice live fire in the field. They also build these hide sites, which test their field craft skills and hiding abilities. Hide sites like this one provide snipers with cover from small arms and mortar fire, but they also give snipers the advantage of delivering their own fire from hidden positions.
Fieldcraft is anything from stalking, the construction of their ghillie suits, field expedient tripods, construction of a hide site, a place to conceal themselves. It's anything that they have to do to camouflage themselves or their area.
For Navy Marine Corps News, I'm Navy journalist Matthew Hess.
With me now is a warrior of a different kind, OS-1 J.J. Harrington, who's enlisted surface warfare qualified, and he did this aboard the USS Arleigh Burke. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, I'm glad you're here.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be enlisted surface warfare qualified.
There's a lot of honor and prestige involved with the system because you have to learn all the systems on the ship. You know the ship from stem to stern, and you're a sailor.
Well, with that in mind, we're going to take a look around the ship and talk to other enlisted surface warfare qualified sailors and also speak with those who want it.
It pays to know a little bit what the engineers do. It pays to know what the hull techs do and whatnot so that, you know, we can stay afloat and get our stuff back up and continue to do our job.
Well, number one, I'm a bit jealous that there are some sailors on board that have the pin because it is a mark of professionalism, and I want to be identified with professionalism as every sailor on board should strive to be.
More and more warfare programs are becoming something sailors need to complete. And no matter where I went aboard ship, the Sullivan sailors said they were aware that being a surface warrior is not only good for the ship, but good for their own professional development as well.
There's a lot of technology involved in the building of this ship, and I can't think of a better way to enhance my career and help my shipmates.
It makes you a better leader because you're able to teach. You can teach, you know, not only your job, but the rest of the ship, and you can teach that, and you pass that on, what it's all about, you pass it on, and then they're able to pass it on one day, and the Navy stays strong because of it.
You know, Ron, these sailors know the importance of being warfare qualified, especially being attached to this Arleigh Burke destroyer.
And being sailors, they all realize the importance of liberty, especially in such a fun and exciting place like New York City.
And when you're in New York City, you can do everything from visiting the Bronx Zoo to Broadway.
And for decades, the people that have been helping sailors and Marines have fun in New York City are the USO.
And when we come back, we'll take a look at the USO in New York City.
Stay right there.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Technician 2nd Class Tony Goulet aboard USS Sullivans. Remember, it is never too early to start studying for your next rating exam. Now stick with us for more Navy and Marine Corps news.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News. Well, you don't actually have to have visited New York City to recognize this scene. We're in Times Square now.
And we're also on Broadway, where the sailors from the USS the Sullivans are taking in the sights and catching a show.
And for sailors and Marines who are going to go on liberty in the Big Apple, the place you got to go first is the USO.
And here to tell us more about the USO and what they can do for you is Corporal Katie Gilley.
Your ship pulling into the Big Apple? New York City offers so many things to do on Liberty, you might not know where to start. Here's your starting point, Lexington and 37th, the USO, where sailors and Marines are always welcome.
Let me tell you, New York is a Navy town. It loves sailors and Marines. It just, given the opportunity, will do anything for them. It will open up their doors. Yes, there's wonderful things for everyone here. For those that are worried and have misgivings, yes, come to us first. We'll find out what it is you want to do, what you like, what it really is that you have most fun doing. And believe it or not, somewhere it's in New York, and if it's here, we'll find it.
If you wanted to see a rodeo, Hazel could make it happen. But most sailors and Marines want to go downtown to Broadway to see the shows. And at the USO, they can help you with free tickets.
The theater industry has been wonderful and is very pro the armed forces. We get Miss Saigon on a regular basis. We've had Les Mis, we've had Present Laughter with Frank Langella, Mr. Vampire. We've had a lot of different shows. As I say, we make our calls to the theaters every day, and if they possibly can, they will donate tickets for the servicemen.
If the theater's not your bag, the USO offers many other things, including discount tours of the city and inexpensive lodging in Manhattan, such as the Soldiers, Sailors, and Airmen's Club, which is co-located at the USO.
And I got a little military book at the exchange that said where to stay in the military, and the place I saw closest in most downtown Manhattan was the Soldiers and Sailors and Airmen's Club. So I called, and they reserved me for $25 a night, so I couldn't beat that.
For more information on what to do in the Big Apple on a budget, call the USO at 212-448-0496. Corporal Katie Gilley, Navy Marine Corps News.
You know, Ron, those folks of the USO, they really care about sailors and Marines. I mean, they've been doing what they do best for more than 50 years.
They really cared about us. They hooked us up with tickets for a Broadway show tonight.
That's right. I laughed, I cried. It was better than Cats.
And Broadway productions are really abundant here. And, of course, one thing you don't have to come to New York to see is a movie, though.
And this week, Petty Officer Sean O'Sullivan Mulligan takes a look at a very special movie for a very special occasion.
The Fighting Sullivans is a heartfelt story about 5 brothers who grew up in Waterloo, Iowa, who go on to join the Navy during World War II. This movie portrays the relationship between the boys from their first sailing experience to their tragic last. When the Sullivan boys heard about the attack on Pearl Harbor, they rushed down to the Navy recruiting office to enlist. But they had one condition. They all had to serve on the same ship.
The yeoman said, "I'll see you men one at a time."
You see, sir, we're the Sullivans. We're brothers, the 5 of us. We've always been together since we was born, you might say, and that's how we want to go into the Navy.
Yeah, it's like this. We always done our fighting as a kind of team. We Sullivans stick together.
While fighting the enemy off the beaches of Guadalcanal, their ship was hit by a torpedo. One of the brothers lying wounded in sickbay when the call to abandon ship was made. The other 4 brothers, with heroic effort, fought their way below decks to save their brother from going down on that sinking ship. That is when they paid with their lives for that heroic attempt.
Abandon ship, you can't go below.
Our brother's down there!
Where's George Sullivan? Get out of here. Abandon ship.
There he is.
Come on.
What's the matter with you, Lug? Get out of here.
Oh, come on, Georgie.
We'll carry you. I told Mom, look, man, you stick around here and you get your heads blown off.
We can't go swimming without you.
This movie will really touch you deep down. It'll really give you a fine appreciation for family values and the meaning of honor, courage, and commitment. Out of 4 bells, I'm going to give the Fighting Sullivans all 4. You can probably find this 1942 classic at your local video store. For Navy Marine Corps News Movie Call, I'm Petty Officer Sean Mulligan.
You know, Ron, it doesn't get any better than 4 bells, and it's only appropriate for a story so touching and patriotic.
Anytime I see a movie this good, I go out and buy a copy. That's what I did. As soon as I saw this, I went straight down to the video store. You got to see The Fighting Sullivans.
Let's go down Pierside now for spectator on participant comments and some highlights of today's commissioning.
I love the Navy anyway, so, and then to be a part of all this and for my parents to come here and see it too, that was awesome.
I see it's a lot of love and on our ship and a lot of togetherness, so I'd rather be on this ship than any other ship.
It was very, very impressive. We'd go again.
I thought it was exciting to see her standing up there on that ship.
I enjoyed it. I'm really happy we made the trip.
Very proud. I mean, it's not a lot of people that get to be on a brand new ship.
There was something inside me just clicked, and I just knew that I was meant to be on this ship. You know, I went home, in fact, and I was jumping up and down going, my God, I'm on the Sullivans. I got the Sullivans. I couldn't believe it.
Well, Candace, I think you could definitely say we've had a lot of fun here in New York City, celebrating the commissioning of USS the Sullivans. We hope you enjoyed watching the show as much as we did putting it together.
That's right. Please tell us what you think about our show. Send us an email or call us on our feedback line. The number and address are coming up. That's our show for this week. I'm Petty Officer Candace Lee.
And I'm Petty Officer Ron Flanders. Before we go, we'd like to say hello and thanks for watching to all the Navy Marine Corps News viewers here in the Big Apple who watch us every week on Crosswalks TV, Channel 74.
And we'd also like to say hello and thanks for watching to the sailors and Marines in the USS Kearsarge Amphibious Ready Group.
We leave you this week with more images of the USS Sullivans and her sailors.
Have a great week.